Who knew exile could ever be this hilarious, chaotic, and weirdly heartwarming? Screwballs Season 2 Episode 17 throws our 5 criminal siblings into Gangjin, a scenic but historic place of exile in Korea, not as a punishment, but as the backdrop for a wild variety adventure, complete with villain dress codes, fake apologies, spontaneous dance breaks, and food competitions that get surprisingly emotional for a comedy show. If you thought these screwballs had lost the plot before, wait till you see them get booted out of town and launch into Gangjin with all the mischief, roast sessions, and camaraderie of true comedic masterminds who just happen to wear their villain status like a badge of honor. So let's break down everything you missed, from that iconic villain fashion parade to the touching, yet totally roasted written apologies, the food drama that had everyone fighting for a piece of fish, and, yes, a whole bunch of inside jokes that surprisingly tugged at your heartstrings. Right from the start, the episode sets up the Misfits' newest crime spree. The 5 are charged with crimes ranging from crushing the innocence of children to disorderly conduct and even ignorance. It's all played for laughs, with everyone taking themselves way less seriously than usual. Their punishment: exile to Gangjin, Jeollanam-do, a place with serious history as Korea's literal destination for outcasts and political prisoners. But, naturally, the show subverts expectations. Gangjin is actually gorgeous, full of reed fields, wildlife, and festivals, which the cast immediately turns into an opportunity for jokes, plugs, and banter. Even before the official mission starts, the roasting is relentless. One member dressed up looking so much like a grandma that the comparison becomes a running gag, while another claims to be the shorter version of Jang Chen, and everyone riffs on pop culture references, old K-drama villains, and failed attempts at method comedy. The villain dress code rolls into some unforgettably ridiculous impressions. Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men, a granny, various movie psychos, and everyone riffing on each other's appearances. Right off the bat, this show thrives on self-awareness and the comfort these comics have with publicly calling each other out and doing it with style. They mock each other for everything, from mixing drinks to fake stories about not paying for meals, but it never tips into actual malice. It's all in the spirit of living out their villain exile together. There's also a surprisingly thorough detour into Gangjin's natural beauty and history, almost as if the cast is half forced to do an impromptu travel plug for the area. We hear about festivals, local legends, and how even Jong Yak Yong, the famous Joseon-era scholar, spent 18 years of exile there, producing works on fair governance. The show draws a subtle and funny link. Even in exile, you can achieve something legendary, or at least legendary snack attacks. The cast is sentenced to explore the area and compete as exiles, with the stakes being not comfort or luxury, but good company, good stories, and, most crucially, good food. Before the main challenge, they crack into a villain laughing contest. Each member tries, and mostly fails, to outdo the others in villainy, with one literally being told to act as a psycho. It's goofy, not scary, and gets everyone loosened up for the next big twist, a written apology mission. But here's the catch. These apologies must be written not for themselves, but by someone else, and read aloud while wearing a kang, the heavy wooden shackle from historical punishments. It's a genius setup. Each comedian gets to roast their partner with fake or exaggerated confessions, while the reader has no choice but to play along. What follows is pure comedy gold mixed with little truths. Say, Ho writes a deliberately misspelled and childish apology for Woo Young, making him look silly. Woo Jae creates a wild apology for Jin Kyung, full of fake Instagram posts and public phone numbers, pushing her to reflect on her own wild, multitasking life. Suk gets called out for an imaginary prison romance and hidden smoking habit, wrapped into a multi-page confession that's part heartfelt, part stone cold parody. Each apology teases out real quirks and insecurities, some genuine moments of reflection, all layered with sharp comic timing and friendly bite. After reading the apologies, in ever-increasing embarrassment, with actual bows, and even near tears for some, everyone's shame levels are off the charts, but so is the laughter and underlying warmth. The voting stakes are clear. The apology that touches the staff the most lets its subject eat the worst off must subsist on rice and kimchi alone. You'd think, being seasoned comics, they'd play it totally for laughs, but you quickly see some of them actually care about making a good impression, or at least not letting their food be stolen away because of bad writing. Interspersed through the food showdown is even more classic Screwballs energy. Each dish, raw sea bass, sea bream, spicy fish stew, bibimbap, abalone, is drooled over, fought over, and eventually shared by the end. Losers are at first doomed to plain rice and kimchi, but the comedic stubbornness gives way to moments of negotiation. Do a sexy dance for us, and you can eat. Vask nicely, and you'll get a piece. It's the comedy show equivalent of Survivor, food reward, minus all the bitterness. In between, the cast manages to work in a bit of local flavor, with praises for Gangjin's exceptional kimchi and fresh seafood. Even if the food battle starts as a punishment, their camaraderie wins out and everyone ends up sharing, after a few rounds of ego checks and villainous laughter. In a nice touch, the closing montage shows this cast of self-styled villains actually acting more like siblings than enemies. They tease each other, play up petty grudges, but eventually look out for each other. By the end, even as they joke about being crazy, weird, or simply villains, what comes through is their real friendship. It's a fitting twist. You're exiled because you're bad. But it's precisely these flaws, jokes, and shared adventures that forge the strongest bonds. Even the little slice of life moments, fixing a camera, someone getting emotional reading a poem, fighting for abalone, feel genuine, with every joke and conflict resolving in laughter and mutual respect. Wrapping up, Screwballs Season 2 Episode 17 is one of those rare variety episodes that blends goofy missions, travelogue comedy, roast battles, and actual heart, all sewn together by a cast with just enough chaos to keep things fresh. In their place of exile, our comics don't just survive, they thrive. proving exile with the right people can be the best kind of madness. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know your favorite Screwballs moment in the comments below. Drop a like if these exiled villains made you laugh. And be sure to share and subscribe for more recaps, behind the scene stories, and all the chaotic fun you crave. Catch you next time.